Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Never Ever Met, Season 2, Episode 4.
Let's just go over these names real quick. Laquana, thank you for your super thanks. You don't have to give me another dime this series. KC-UL61S or IS, thank you for your super thanks. You do not need to give me another dime this series. JW Muhammad, thank you for your super thanks. And he was the one that suggested this show to me.
And he's still with us. I thought we lost you for a second. I'm glad you're still with us.
Yes. I would say thank you for your super thanks, but you owe a little bit more.
Okay.
Right? JC Chair 7634, thank you for your super thanks. You don't have to give me another penny. Right? Dupe 8187, thank you for your super thanks. Don't give me another penny for this series. And Jessica Brooks 1430, she gave money last week. I think 2 weeks in a row. And she told me to give you the money since she gave it before the week prior to. Mm-hmm. I did not. Right?
He got himself double waffle
fries.
Yes,
thank you. So it's going to be for me 2 times. Thank you for your super thanks, sister from another mister. Listen, I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, and
super thanks.
And super thanks, Blair. You only got one line to say. Super thanks, right?
For Christopher's labor.
Yes. Also, I see some people in the comments saying, oh, Chris, I got to save the money for my college fund. I need to save the money for my kids. I got new brakes and stuff like that. Walk.
Okay.
Okay. You don't need to drive, right?
Okay.
Now, before we get to this show and this episode, Blair, because I was hollering while watching it.
You were.
Right? If there was a word that you don't want to be described as, like this smelly, talkative, what is one word that you do not want associated with you?
Lazy.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Right? That's actually surprising, right? Mm-hmm. For me, it's liar. I do not want liar associated with my name at all. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to show y'all and basically tell y'all why I think liar may be worse than drunk. You ready to get through this episode?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
All right. So Chris, Cinco, Brandon, and Jared are all talking. And Chris is saying, I said no yesterday, but if you were to ask me today if I wanted to be with my lady, maybe.
Hey, Chris, I think you just remembered that y'all being filmed. Mm-hmm. And at the end of this, that she's going to see, like, your lie and things of that nature. So don't try to cover it up now. You said what you meant. Mm-hmm.
Jared wrote F no on his paper, and he still feels like 6 kids is too much.
It is.
Brandon wanted to talk to Kiki about why he said no, but he just couldn't have that conversation the night before. Mm-hmm. And Cisco says that everyone's issue is communication, and that's what they all should be working on.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So Jay is asking Tatiana if Clay wanted to be vegan. Mm-hmm. And Tatiana isn't trying to make him vegan, but Clay said that he wanted to pursue a vegan diet.
Yeah.
She said that it's seeming more like a facade because he was eating beef taquitos. We learned that Jay also made him some meat sandwiches with the bread cooked in the bacon juice. I was like, I hadn't
bacon
heard of
grease,
that before. Yeah, the bacon grease.
Yeah.
And now Tatiana's wondering what else he would pretend to be if he's going to pretend to be a vegan.
Here's the thing about it. As Blair said, she do not want lazy attached to her name, but with Clay, we have to attach what to his name? Liar.
Yeah.
Right? Liar number 1, please step forward. Clay, I don't even understand why you're lying. I don't even understand why you're doing these small lies knowing that you got a big lie that you have to tell. Right? This is giving weird to me. This is giving I need to know where you are in your life in totality, because I don't think you see things the way that we see things. Even saying things like, my ex or like the woman I was dealing with, she showed up pregnant. That's a wild thing to say. You get what I'm saying?
It's a weird way to describe what happened.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't think you see things through the lens of truth. You get what I'm saying? So the whole idea that TT is over here, she's not forcing you to be vegan. So this is a lie that you are choosing to do recreationally, which lets me to believe that there's something that's not right up here of why you feel like you have to be performative. But guess what? We seen the characteristics of him being performative, because when they was doing the little sex position things as an exercise, he was being too performative, and TT did not say anything in the moment, but she was uncomfortable. What is your thoughts on Clay just lying for no reason?
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Why? Number one, she didn't ask him to be vegan.
No.
She's dated people who are not vegan.
Yes.
So for him to go out of his way to say he wants to be vegan but eat meat behind her back. It's why are you doing this?
It makes no sense.
Like, you don't have to not eat meat, but you're recreationally lying to her and going behind her back to do something. So I'm glad that she's peeping what's going on and she's keeping tabs on what he's doing. I wish that she would be a little, I'm not going to say quicker to react, but quicker to cut him off, because he's really like doing weird things unnecessarily. And I can't see for the life of me why she isn't turned off by this guy.
I think she is.
And I think you're right. I think she is, but she keeps wanting to give him a chance. And I'm just like, girl, give it up. Like, I don't think he's worth giving chances to, because he's lying for fun.
Well, here's the thing, Blair. I don't think she's giving him chances. This is called building a case, right? To where when I cut it off, it's off, right? You don't really, if I want to get a RICO on you and things of that nature, I'm not going to jump on you every time you jaywalk. I'm not going to jump on you every time you driving without a seatbelt. I want the big charges on you. So I think if we go back to last episode to where Clay was basically in the jacuzzi or whatever talking loud about his big secret, and then TT come over there and she's basically like, what was y'all talking about, right? And basically he said, you know what? I think I love you, right? I think when she told us in the confessional, she said, yeah, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
It like, he's lying. So I think she's building her case. So when she does snap and basically say, you lied about this, you lied about this, you lied about this, you lied about this, there is no sorry that will be able to fix it. There is no hug or anything like that. Give me another chance that will be able to fix it. She just basically building her case, because he is definitely weird to me.
Because I'm for like,
sure.
I don't know if it's immaturity or if there is a screw loose.
No,
I really
no.
can't tell.
Yes, it's the answer.
Okay.
Yeah, because truth be told, I've talked to a vegan before, right? They understand that the whole process of being a vegan is a life-changing thing. It's not just a diet thing. It's a life-changing thing. So the fact that she's not even putting that like onus on him, like, hey, you don't have to be vegan, because I understand that it's a total life change. And he's like, no, I'm going to do it for you. But yet he's over here sneaking and eating meat as if she don't know he eats meat.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. So Jared is feeling guilty about the night before. He feels like he was a little bit harsh when he was talking about Charli. Charli thinks that he's great, but she's just not really feeling herself at the moment, but she's happy with him. Jared says that they're just in so deep that he can't even find the words to explain, and she says they're dynamic. And he's like, see, you finished my sentences.
Yeah.
But pretty much all this conversation was so that way he could tell her that whenever you're ready for the intimacy suite, I'm ready. And so Charli says, well, I guess we can book it tonight.
Yes, we can. What is your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, Jared's a creep. Like, he's a creep. I guess my biggest thing about him being a creep is that he's like trying, like, you don't have to lie to kick it. Like, I think she wants you. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wants you. She wants your body. She was looking at his bulge the first day. And I'm just like, she clearly wants you. You don't have to sell her a fantasy of your life together to smash. So that's the only weird thing to me about Jared. And the fact that he lies to her too. I'm just like, this whole house is just full of liars and cheaters. It's crazy.
Listen, liar number 2, step forward. Yeah. Right? Now, when you say she wants him, do you think she wants him in the sense of just like, if he were just to offer just sex with no ties, do you think she would still say yes? Or do you think she only wants him only if it comes with the relationship and sex?
I think she'll take whatever she can get from him.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
right.
Because I think that if he was to say like, look, I don't know about us long term, but you know, we'll see how things go. She's not turning that man away. She's got his name tattooed on her.
Yeah, and guess what? That's weird.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think he asked her to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the thing about it, right? I read through the comments. I read through the comments of other people reviews, and they would like the producers to step in and not allow this woman to be cracked, right? And I do not agree with that.
Me neither. She's grown. Let her make her own decisions.
But they feel like there's some deception in the sense of he's lying, and basically, you know, she is fresh off a baby. She's not fully healed. Somebody should step in and stop this. And the reason why I say no is before someone steps in or should step in, did y'all know Charli had full autonomy and full power over even coming on the show?
And applying while she was pregnant.
Yes. So my whole thing is she had the power to not come on the show. She had the power to not audition for the show, to like your point, Blair. So I am all for somebody stepping in when they don't have no power, but at no point is Charli, and even to this point, is powerless. She's not powerless at all. This is someone who left their 1 month year old, not 1 year old, not 3 month, 1 month year old. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
To be with a guy.
All right.
And now you want someone to step in because he's lying, because he wants to crack, and y'all now worried about her stitches, and now y'all worried about she's not fully healed. If there's anyone who knows that she is not fully healed fully, it's who? Charli. And she needs to be responsible for her own self, and she should have put her priorities in the sense of, hey, maybe I shouldn't come on the show when I got a breast pump or basically is it breast pump?
Well, breastfeed, but
breast,
yeah, she's pumping.
When she got to pump her breasts because she's supposed to be breastfeeding or maybe taking care of her 1 month year old. So I don't feel bad for Charli.
Yeah.
Even though Jared is a liar.
Yeah. So we move on to Brandon and Kiki, and she's asking why he was talking over her and talking to other people about their situation. And Brandon's point is just like, I'm over here cooking by myself and you're still drinking the whole day away, pretty much. Yeah. Kiki feels like she's on vacation. She can monitor her own intake, and he needs to mind his business. And she feels like it starts small, but it's going to progress to him trying to control other things that she does. Well, Brandon is tired of the conversation. He walks away, and Kiki says she's tired of him. He's not her daddy.
Yeah, keep going.
So Brandon goes into the kitchen, and he's pretty much talking to Cisco and Jay, and he was saying that I'm trying to have a conversation with her, but then she like turns it around and is trying to come at me. Alicia's in the kitchen, and she pipes up and she tells Brandon that, you know, you need to take your issues to Kiki. You don't need to be talking about her in front of everybody for everyone to hear. And Brandon tells Alicia that you're worried about me, but you need to be worried about your situation with Irvin. And he thinks that her energy is aggressive. Brandon then tells Irvin that Alicia came into his conversation, and Irvin says that he will talk to her. Irvin thinks Alicia should have minded her own business.
Should I go first or you should go first?
I'm going to go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So for me, number one, Kiki was not receptive during the conversation.
Facts.
She didn't take accountability for anything that she should have taken accountability for when it came to him cooking by himself, him cleaning up by himself. She's over here talking about she's on vacation, and I could understand why she would think that. But the thing is, you're here to get to know your partner, see if you guys work together, and actually do the work of seeing if this could be a long-term situation. So I think that her mindset going into this was not what it should have been. And for her to not take any accountability during the conversation and just pretty much put it on him to say, you need to stop controlling me, I think that she was lacking a little bit in her understanding of where he was coming from. Yeah. But I also think that for her, if she doesn't want to be controlled and she wants to have, you know, the freedom to drink and do whatever she wants to do, then she can voice that to Brandon, and it's up to Brandon to decide if he can rock with that or if he can't. Yeah. So I appreciate honesty in the fact that she's like, I want to do what I want to do and you can't tell me what to do. And he can choose to take it or leave it. And when it comes to him going into the kitchen, he didn't say anything outright disrespectful, but I do find it, how would I say it? I think that it's better if you're venting to pretty much take it to one person in that type of setting to kind of share your frustrations and kind of bounce back and forth. Like if we think back to how Chris spoke to, who did he talk to? Was it Jared or Cisco?
It was Jared.
Jared. He was talking to Jared after the whole Alexis situation, and he was explaining to him like his past, why the Alexis thing bothered him, and he was able to kind of clear his head in order to have a better conversation moving forward. And prior to that, if I'm just doing comparisons, Alexis was in the room just kind of saying out loud that she didn't feel like she had a good time, not talking to anyone in particular, but pretty much whoever was around expressing her frustrations. I prefer the one-on-one approach. So when I see Brandon, to me, this is another time to where he took a conversation or found an opportunity to speak about Kiki in front of multiple people. And I felt like how Alicia felt, pretty much like, direct your conversation to the person you need to have it to. Like, don't just say it out loud and about for everybody to hear, especially if you're not confiding in one person who can really like listen to what you're saying. Because Alicia, Cisco, Jay, they were all in the kitchen, and he was just talking to whoever was in the vicinity.
Alicia was not in the kitchen. She walked in the kitchen.
Okay, but I'm just saying this is what it was. So I could understand where it's just kind of like, I hear that you're frustrated, but you need to take this up with the girl that you need to talk to. But he did try to take it up with her, but she wasn't receptive. So I mean, I'm not mad at him for wanting to vent, because I think that they're there to support each other, especially when the therapists aren't around. But I'm just not a fan of him talking about her in front of people the way that he's done. So
Yeah. And guess what? I'm going to be better receptive to that opinion today
than yesterday.
Than
yeah,
yesterday.
you was arguing me down.
No, because listen here, because this could be a 2-hour conversation. I have no problem with Brandon coming in the kitchen and basically saying, he said 2 sentences. He said, I tried to talk to Kiki, but she tried to flip it on me. By then, Alicia walked in. He didn't even get the venting. Yeah. He did not even say anything disrespectfully, right? But let's go back to Kiki, right? A word that you don't want to be associated with is lazy. A word that I don't want to be associated with is liar. So far, we got Clay as a liar. We got Jared as a liar. Let's add thief to his thing, too, because he stole Kiki's Coca-Cola.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that, right? Mm-hmm. And Kiki, let's add liar to you, right? Gaslighter even, right? She started off the conversation with saying, Brandon, I don't appreciate you talking to other people about our relationship, right? While Brandon was cooking in the kitchen with all the other people in the house, she was walking outside talking to TT by the poolside, talking about, I don't know what he wants from me. Is that not talking about y'all relationship? Yes. When y'all was inside and things of that nature, and Kiki, you was talking to Brittany, right? So this is you talking to other people about a situation at that you was wrong. This is not even a situation where Brandon was wilding and things of that nature. He just wanted to cook with you, and then he had to clean the kitchen all by himself. But that's for another day, right? So far, I have never heard Brandon say, I don't want you to drink at all. At no point did Brandon ever say, to my, please correct me if I'm wrong, that Kiki, I don't like when you drink, period, so I want you to not drink at all. Right? So whole time while he's over here expressing the whole idea of why alcohol may be a problem, hey, I had, my family and things like that when it came to my mom and like my stepdad or vice versa, whatever it is, like I seen alcohol break up a family and things like that. The abuse of it rather, right? And it just makes me feel uncomfortable about that. And Kiki basically just rolled right past that and said, well, I ain't your daddy.
You're not my daddy. Mm-hmm.
You're right, basically, right? No, but she also basically said, I'm not your daddy, too. She said that in the confessional, too, right? Mm-hmm. She said, I'm not your daddy. Mm-hmm. So basically, where was the sympathy and empathy for basically where he feels about it and where you can meet him halfway when it comes to abusing the alcohol? Because here's the thing about it. You can say that you don't abuse it, but you was totally out of commission the next day. The next day, you couldn't even stand up to cook your own food. The next day, you couldn't clean. The next day, you was in the bed. That night, you was on the couch. So there is some abuse that happens to where it took a toll on your body, to where your body now has to recover, right? So this whole idea or this whole conversation right here that Kiki is trying to have with Brandon, basically gaslighting him and not taking accountability at all for any of her actions. At no point did she basically say that, hey, I was wrong. At no point did she say, I shouldn't have left you cooking by yourself. At no point did she say, I should have cleaned the kitchen. All this time, she's trying to say, you're controlling. Oh, I'm only controlling when you're wrong, and now you have to take accountability? I don't like that. I don't like the flipping of the script. I don't like the gaslighting, and I don't like the lying that she's trying to do to basically hide the fact that, Kiki, you may have a problem. And guess what? You can't flip it on me as if, like, I have some controlling issues and things like that. Yes, everybody wants to have control over their life in some aspects and things of that nature. But truth be told, the people that really have control problems and things like that, especially in Brandon's situation, as we go get in the therapy section and things like that, usually it's anxiety and it's basically motivated by something else. You have sprinkled in and peppered in that, hey, I don't have a drinking problem, but when my mother passed away, R.I.P., I turned to the bottle. You know what? Me and my friend, we finished the bottle. And it's like, you're telling me you don't have a problem with drinking, but every major point in your life, you're talking about bottles and finishing it off and turning to it and relying on it. So I have to call you a liar because your words are not matching to me. Oh, I forgot about Alicia. Alicia does need to mind her business because as for someone who I believe is the worst one in the house, right? You're talking because when she came in, she did not come in with the whole intention of, hey, you need to talk to Kiki for the betterment of your relationship. That was not her intention. She came in and said, y'all are throwing my energy off. So it was selfish. It wasn't for the betterment of communication because she's not communicating to Irvin at all in her relationship. So her whole idea was, hey, you need to do that because I was chilling at the poolside and then y'all just came in messing up my energy. Stop it. I'm not a fan of Alicia or Kiki so far to this point, or Clay or Jared.
Yeah. So Irvin approaches Alicia and tells her it seems like you're causing issues.
Yeah.
And Alicia says all she's been doing is minding her business. And then he talks about what actually went down, and she admits to saying that Brandon needed to talk to Kiki directly. Mm-hmm. And Alicia says, you're right, I could have minded my business, but don't make me feel like you're reprimanding me. She starts praying, talking in tongues because he is trying to hold her accountable.
Yeah.
And she's like, I have to do what I have to do for my body, and she is trying to regulate her emotions. And Irvin tells her, just don't agitate issues with people in the house.
You first or me first?
You go ahead.
I don't like Clay. I don't like Jared. I don't like Kiki. And let's add Alicia. And let's add Irvin. Why don't I? Oh, and Charli, of course. The 1 month mama over here. The reason why I don't like Irvin, Chris, why don't you like Irvin? I am all for people having full power and full autonomy over their situations, right? Irvin, why are you subjecting yourself to this woman? This one, we have seen what happened on the show so far. We have seen the scenes that's only on YouTube, to where basically she do not take any accountability. She berates you and things of that nature. She don't respect you. It feels like she don't like you. And truth be told, I feel like you don't like her either. So this whole thing of trying to talk to her, and you're over here trying to have a conversation with her, and she decided to speak in tongues in total disrespect to you. I don't care what she tried to label it as in she got to call on the spirit and things like that. I grew up in church, right? And you're not even supposed to be doing that and basically just, you're not supposed to do that recreationally, especially if you're having a conversation with someone in English.
Yeah.
And then I just bust out in tongues. That's disrespectful. So this whole idea that, Irvin, you're supposed to be a man and you're supposed to stand on your square. And if these are your boundaries of respect, and you're supposed to be someone that's basically, hey, I don't like disrespect. I don't like you being bossy. I don't like you doing all these things. At a certain point of this season, I'm going to stop blaming Alicia. Alicia's going to be the one that's going to be consistent throughout the whole season, right? Eventually, I got to look at Irvin and say, Irvin, is this the woman you want? You only been talking to her for 4 or 5 months. Why are you subjecting yourself to having to reprimand somebody, right? Because at the end of the day, she's not changing. She never take accountability, and she's going to flip the situation on its head to make you the wrong party. So why are you sleeping there tonight and not going home and getting peace? What do you want out of this? Mm-hmm. I have to ask Irvin. What is your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad that he approached her. I mean, I feel like Alicia needs to be checked often because she's not going to self-reflect as much as she likes to use therapy talk. She does not reflect at all.
No.
And so with her pretty much eventually acknowledging that she did not mind her business, because she wasn't even going to admit that, which I thought was wild. And then she ended up turning it on to, well, you don't have to talk to me like you're reprimanding me. The thing is with Alicia is that she doesn't like people to be frustrated with her or angry at her or to show any type of emotion towards her or even around her, it seems like. And I'm not upset with Irvin for being frustrated. Like, I'm really not. And the fact that, I've seen like some commentary, like Twitter and different things like that, where people think like Irvin is a scary man and he's disrespectful and all this type of stuff. I don't see it that way. I feel like he tries to talk to this lady who chooses to pretty much be a brick wall, and he gets frustrated with it. And then she cannot stand the fact that she is frustrating.
Yeah.
And so for me, I pretty much agree with you. Like, Irvin, when are you going to leave this girl alone? Like, she's not receptive to you.
What are the good qualities?
And, right. She's not receptive to you and what you say. And then you end up getting upset, and she can't handle a heated conversation. So what is the point actually? And then to me, I'm just like, well, some men like mean women. Some men like women who are difficult. Like, some guys find that to be a challenge. So maybe that's his situation. I don't really know. I don't know these people, but I'm just kind of like, I really don't see what is bonding him to her other than the show. And for Alicia's sake, for all the therapy she says she's gone through and the self-healing and self-work and all that type of stuff. So when does it come into you being compassionate and empathetic towards other people? When does that extend outside of yourself is my question for her.
She's not. And Alicia, she's more than mean, because I will put who is Chris woman name? Alexis? I probably put her in the category of mean. Yeah. And things like that. But she shows that she could be mean, but really, like, she showed like at least a pattern of her being nice, of at least be understanding. When Chris brought to her hey, I didn't feel comfortable when you did that, did she not apologize? Did she not take accountability for her wrong? Did she not say she's not gonna do it again? So I would say, okay, Alexis, she have at least in her somewhere that she can see her wrong. Alicia have not done that one time. Instead, she said she wasn't safe, but then in the same breath goes downstairs, follow him.
Come back to my room.
Right? Bossing him around, right? Also, he can't show emotions of anger. He can't show any emotions of disdain or anything that would disrupt her energy. So I'm like, what are the good qualities that will offset the meanness in her? I don't think she's mean. I think she's worse than mean, right? I think she's intentionally doing this, and that can lean towards the side of evil. Oh, right. No, like really, like, because she can morph and basically form whatever situation to where now it's on you, it's not on me. I watched that digital exclusive clip to where he's basically like, hey, where he was gonna cook some tacos and things like that, and they was basically bossing him inside the kitchen. He basically was talking to Alicia outside saying, hey, I like you're bossy, don't talk to me that way. And she basically was like, well, listen, I am who I am. And Irvin, you have a problem with whenever there's a disagreement in a relationship, you always get uptight and things like that. There's going to be disagreements in a relationship. And I'm like, whoa, what did you morph into? And that's why I'm no longer going to blame Alicia from this episode on. I'm going to look at Irvin and say, Irvin, where's your self-respect? Because I don't respect simps. I don't respect no man that just sit there and take abuse. No, I don't. Because not only are men stronger, men are faster. Meaning that, hey, get up and run. She can't catch you. Okay. I know she can't catch you unless she ran track, then she may be able to catch you. Okay. But my whole thing is, Irvin, you are a man. Get up and don't use your strength, as you know. Make sure she feels safe. Use your speed. Get up and run. I'm serious. I'm tired. Yeah. I'm tired of men using this excuse of they gotta stay in these situations and things of that nature. Use your speed. Run. Get away from her. You get what I'm saying?
So we see the scene that I have been waiting for when Brandon and Kiki meet with a therapist. Because I was like, where is the therapist last episode? Well, we learned that Brandon has dealt with trauma in his life where he's seen alcohol ruin a home. His mom's ex-husband used to come home drinking, and his stepdad and his mom got a divorce from that. Yeah. Kiki understands the trauma he expressed, but she doesn't need him to control what she drinks. She feels judged. To her, this is a vacation, and she is a social drinker.
Stop right there. Just off of that alone, let's break this down piece by piece. Do you feel like she was receptive to what he said?
No. She immediately went into her issue. Yeah. And the thing is, you both can have an issue at the same time, but there should be a level of acknowledgement. And I understand she understands the trauma, but it doesn't need to be I understand, but let it breathe for a minute. Let it breathe.
Let it breathe for a minute. Here's the thing about it. It's not that she don't understand. It's even worse, Blair. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about his little trauma, about his mama and her daddy breaking up, and now the stepdaddy done broke up. She don't care because she couldn't wait to get to the point of, hey, I feel judged when you do this to me, right? It's no longer about Brandon. It's no longer about, hey, Brandon, I understand that I'm triggering you, and it's not even the alcohol that's triggering him. It's your reaction to it. It's maybe the overconsumption of it. It's the abuse of it, and she is not even taking accountability of just saying, "Hey, sorry that happened to you, and I did not mean to do that to you." But immediately she put the onus back on him and said, "Well, I feel judged whenever you bring up alcohol and things like that. Hey, this is a vacation, right? I'm a social drinker. I'm a fun drunk," and things like that, justifying his reality. This is his reality. But if the shoe was on the other foot, let's switch the shoes, right? Let's switch the people. If a guy was to do this to a woman and things of that nature, oh my goodness, how dare he? How dare he not take a pause or basically let it breathe and basically empathize and sympathize to her story and things like that. We have to also, because truth be told, even though today in 2025 therapy is now starting to become a little bit taboo and things like that, but people are open to therapy, right? And we have to be open to guys being open and accepting their openness, because even though there are a lot of guys that's open to therapy, there are still a big number of guys who are not open to it, who are not open to basically spilling it out and basically saying, this is really what I'm angry about. Because men really only have really two, we only know two emotions, right? And that's angry and not even happy, just content. You know what I mean? I would suggest that a lot of men get an emotional wheel so we can learn more emotions, so we can channel it and express it better. But I did not like how Kiki basically ran over his story as if, like, well, I still feel judged. It's still, you're trying to turn the spotlight on you, and I did not like that one bit.
So the therapist asked, how many drinks do you guys think is too many for a night?
Yeah.
So Brandon thinks 3 is a good number.
Yeah.
And Kiki says 2 to 3 drinks with 2 to 3 shots.
Now,
So about 6 drinks.
I ain't gonna lie. When he said 3, I actually was surprised he said 3.
Yeah, I thought he would have said like 1.
Me too.
Yeah.
Listen here. Now, I don't know what I'm doing right there, but I was like, I thought Brandon was one of the type to where, hey, you just have a drink and then you come to me for permission for the second one or something like that.
And I think that really like put into perspective, like it provided clarity to me, because I was along the fence of, well, people who don't drink probably think drinking 2 drinks is too much.
Yeah.
So for Brandon to say 3 drinks, and then that made me think, okay, so he's not that much of like pretty much like a tight behind, you know what I'm saying? Like he is open to the fact that you can enjoy a few libations and enjoy your night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But 6-7 drinks in a night, that's a lot, and that can definitely lead you to being hungover the next day.
And here's the thing.
But
you're right.
I do want to also add that I think someone said that her age was 24, and I can totally understand early 20s, mid 20s sometimes, is that you're still kind of in that phase of, if you haven't been drinking before the legal age, like you're kind of learning your limits, you're enjoying alcohol and all that type of stuff. And so I think that within that age range, sometimes people can go a little bit overboard until they get into an area of kind of basically being not so fresh and new with the alcohol, and they're able to kind of handle it and manage it a little bit better. So I do give her grace for her age. And I also even give her grace for just kind of her lack of understanding, because sometimes it doesn't click until you get a little bit older.
Yeah.
So
I'm not giving her grace for her age because you're an adult. I will give her grace for her unique circumstance. Her unique circumstance is that her mother passed away. And I think she is, as we go get to the term, I think she's self-medicating, right? And one thing that she said in justifying her drinking, which I do believe, right, which I will give her grace for, not for her age, but for her situation, is that she said, we are in the house, even though she called it a vacation in this session, she said it's a high-stress situation, right? So I'm like, there is something to cameras around. You are meeting somebody for the first time. You are trying to mesh, right? You're still trying to get over the death of your mom, RIP, right? So there is a level of anxiety that she may feel. And I think her result is, hey, I need to drink till I don't feel.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the only grace that I give her to her situation when it comes to that. But when it comes to the 3 drinks and maybe even 3 shots on top of that, I think even then, I think I now can see what Brandon's talking about, because you can't handle it, but you're doing it.
Right.
And you it's one thing, like, for example, all of us had that one bad drinking time to where we're like, I'm never drinking again because the recovery and the pain that we had to deal with after, right? But it seems like she is hungover and then she's consistently like doing it again. So I think she's trying to relieve the stress that she's under.
Yeah. And so the therapist talks about how there actually are guidelines for binge drinking. It's 4 drinks a night and a little slightly less for women. And the question is asked, so have you always drank like this? And she says she started drinking like this about a year ago when she lost her mom, and the drinking helped take some of the pain away.
See?
So there is concern that it's being used as a coping mechanism. And we have the therapist talk about how it just seems like Brandon is trying to control things because of the trauma and anxiety that he went through. And, she's like, you're not wrong for seeing something is going on, but the way that he's doing it is a bit aggressive for this phase. And I think that's an important part too, is that number one, she's in a state of grief. And she's also self-medicating right now. And the way you're coming at her is not going to be received well.
No.
So I think it's important to say that for the phase that she's in with trying to manage her emotions and manage her drinking, like, you're coming in a little too hot right now, Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to know that you're coming in too hot because you're not really based in reality, right? Talking about Kiki. Because she's basically trying to self-medicate, self-heal. And he's the only one that's like, this is my reality in the sense of what happened to him personally. And also I'm seeing the effects of what is happening, what it does to you.
Yeah.
So even though she's like, I'm leaning on it because I need it, he's looking at it like, but you're not the same Kiki when you're binge drinking like this though. But so like, yeah.
Yeah. And the therapist talks to Kiki alone, which I was happy she did that as well. And they're talking about, he walks off. He hands her a rose before he walks off. He is going to take a break before reacting with his feelings and trying to stop being so controlling.
Yeah.
Kiki is starting to feel lonely in the house because they're not really meshing, and it makes her feel like how she felt with her ex. He was her first love. He was also her fiance. She learned that he cheated with multiple people, and they were together for 8 years. Y'all, she broke up with this man 4 months ago.
Wait a minute.
Reminder, she's been talking to Brandon for 4 years.
Wait a minute. The math ain't mathing.
And Kiki admitted the math was not mathing. She knows that she needs to talk to Brandon about this, but they're already at odds, and she really doesn't know the right time to bring it up. Now, the only thing I also want to say about Kiki, when it comes to the whole drinking situation, I think that, number one, she needs to admit that there is a problem. And I think that when you are kind of going through just enjoying having fun and not really thinking too much about your consumption, like, you're not going to think that there's a need for a change because you don't think that there's an issue. But I think that once you can actually say, you know what, I'd be doing a lot. You know, I could probably take a step back. This isn't necessarily something I need to do in my life. Then that's where you can actually start to change. And I will say, you know, Kiki, watched our show. She made a comment and was kind of trying to provide clarification, according to her drinking and the things that she was saying about splitting a bottle. She was talking about a wine bottle.
I don't believe her.
And things like that. And for me, I'm just saying, you know, all that could be very well true of what you're talking about. But I feel like in this therapy session that she needs to come to a little bit more realizations about what she's doing to herself.
Yeah.
So that way she can make a positive change. And I don't say it in any type of way of trying to be reprimanding or judgmental because, you know, I mean, she's her own person. I don't know her, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that once you know that you're being self-destructive, you got to look at yourself and see what you can do to make those changes. So that way you can be just a healthier, happier person.
Yeah. For me, I think Kiki's a liar and she knows she's a liar. Wine, how much do wine cost? Usually you get a bottle of wine for less than $10, right? That hard alcohol will cost you a little bit more. That makes more sense to split. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, hey, we gonna split this. I'm gonna get a big bottle of this. We gonna split this. Wine, unless y'all are broke and y'all had to split a wine bottle, I'm not believing that just off the strength. You get a wine for $10, right? The reason why I don't believe Kiki because, or the main reason why, put it like this, I agree with what you said, but I'm not giving her bail for that. She knowingly lied to Brandon. So you're a liar and you a cheat. These are things that we can attach to your name objectively based on your words, not based on what we think. This is not a review to where I'm just coming up with things out my head. I'm reviewing what you're saying and then just putting words to it. So you knowingly lied to Brandon. Knowingly over here all this time you talking about the reason why I did not come and meet him even though we live 2 hours away and things like that. You know, we had meetings to where we would meet in the airport and things like that, and I canceled because I was worried about what he would think about my body. Now I'm starting to think maybe you didn't come and meet him because you was in a relationship.
Yeah. And I think that's the other part of it too, is that Kiki needs to come clean about the lies.
Yeah.
Specifically this whole relationship lie.
Yeah.
And I think it's really unfair to lie to people, especially people that you are trying to be in a romantic relationship with.
Yeah.
Because you're not giving them the freedom to make their own choice with the information that you have. If somebody wants to be with you and you know, you tell them, you know, certain things that have happened in your past or things that maybe you've done during the dating stage that aren't so savory, you have to give that person the freedom to make their own decisions on if they want to be with you or not. Yeah. I find that to be manipulative.
And let's add that. Let's add that to the description box. She's a liar, she's a cheater, and she's manipulative. Because you are knowingly over here criticizing him for being controlling. All these things, that's what's wrong with Brandon. You get what I'm saying? Whole time you got a big lie that during this whole relationship or a good part of the relationship, you was in love with not only an ex-fiance. Then Kiki, what are we doing here? Matter of fact, I don't care. Drink away. Because you know why? I'm not in a relationship, so I'm not going to really care about what happens to you and things like that because truth be told, you did not care about me. It just is what it is.
So everyone goes to Topgolf. I thought this was a nice idea until it actually happen.
I thought this was a lit idea, to be honest.
I was like, finally, they can get out the house. They can have some fun. They can be outside.
Yeah.
So everyone was going to Topgolf. And I'm just like, okay, this should be a really fun night to do some Topgolf.
Yeah.
Tatiana is not feeling Clay in his lies.
I feel you, TT.
Kiki tells Brandon that having a mediator did help, and Brandon agrees to work through their communication. He tells her that he did take a shot tonight, and he wanted to be open about that since it was such a big deal to him.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon says that, you know what, we're going to drink together tonight. He orders them some drinks, and they, are going to have a chill, relaxed night, and he's not going to be counting her drinks.
Listen here, Kiki was like, "Oh, this is all Kiki really wanted. Just don't reprimand me about my drinking, right? This wasn't a situation because you over here talk about the mediator help. Did it help you tell your lie, your secret?" Things like that. No, you just get a free. That's the funny thing about relationships. You just get a one night pass to do whatever you want. You like to drink? Guess what? I'm gonna drink with you.
But that's my thing with Brandon. As much as like you talk about like respecting men for pretty much standing on their square.
Yeah.
And I feel like Brandon, you didn't stand on your square.
What do you mean?
I feel like if the drinking and the alcohol is a traumatic situation for you, for that evening, for you to take multiple shots, take drinks, talk about we drinking tonight, then it kind of makes me think that, okay, should she be taking your trauma less seriously because you're drinking tonight? You know what I'm saying?
No,
I just don't appreciate how hard he was coming at her, and then he's just like, okay, we're just gonna chill out tonight and drink and do whatever we want to do. Because I'm just like, so then how passionate about it are you really?
I'm not. I'm 100% the opposite of what you feel. Dealing with relationships, especially dealing with someone who have an alcohol problem and they can't even acknowledge that they have an alcohol problem, and you just got told that, hey, that you have a controlling problem, Brandon, so you need to basically loosen the grip. I think this is his way of basically saying, I'm going to meet you halfway by not being controlling. Right now, you need to meet me halfway and doing whatever you gotta do. Now, in this moment, when they're drinking and things of that nature, I think truth be told, he still have a problem with it. But what can he do? He just came from therapy and things like that.
But I'm not saying that to say that he should have been on her about her drinking tonight. I'm saying if that's what your square is, then why are you taking multiple shots and multiple drinks when you just said that three drinks is good enough? Because like I'm just like, if you don't think that's right, then why are you doing that for yourself?
For him, he's saying he don't have. I never heard Brandon say he have a drinking problem.
But I'm saying that and maybe y'all, can tell us your perspective in the comments. But if he is saying that drinking is an issue, he doesn't agree with, overconsumption of alcohol, then why would he participate in overconsumption of alcohol?
That doesn't listen. He's drinking. I don't know if he was drunk. I don't know if he was out of his mind, but if he's taking 2 shots and things like that, drinking with Kiki, but he still got his wits about him and things like that, I don't see that as a problem. In his mind, he's probably like, I'm not over drinking.
To me, I don't think it's a problem either, personally, but I'm saying if you're talking about it and making such a big deal about it, then why are you changing your actions? But that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe. But to me, I think when it comes to Kiki is a very unique case because your squares, you self-medicate with it, right? Just because you self-medicate with it doesn't mean that I can't have a shot or I can have a loose night and things like that. I think he basically did this tonight to let her know I don't have a problem with you drinking, period. We can drink together. We can have a fun time together with alcohol, but it's the overconsumption and things like that. So I think in this moment, I can see what you're saying. I just don't agree with it. I think he was just trying to say, hey, in good faith, I'm going to show you how not controlling I can be. Okay. How comfortable I can be with it. But I think in this moment, as long as Kiki is drinking and basically self-medicating, she ain't taking the steps to basically change her situation and to even be honest about the fiance. Yeah.
So Jay and Cisco are doing good. They're just trying to keep to themselves and stay out the drama.
Please listen here, man. I hope nothing will come out that Cisco got a baby somewhere. You know what I mean?
I know, right? And Alicia, she's enjoying her night, dancing in her seat. Irvin looks at her and she says, "What? I can't dance?" And Irvin says, "I didn't even say anything." That's weird.
What are your thoughts on that?
My thing is, even if Irvin was looking at, honestly, I'm not going to say what he was. I'm just going to talk about my perspective. I thought he just looked over at the girl. I didn't think he looked at her any type of way, to be honest. And maybe I need to watch it back, but I really think he was just looking at her. And for her, it seems like she's just a very defensive person. And I think that's why he called her weird, because he's like, I didn't even say anything about you. I'm just looking at you. And now you asking me like, what, I can't dance? Like, you're so defensive. Like, relax.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you, but I want to give another perspective as well, right?
Okay.
I think this is what happens when you simp. Right? Maybe something in him, because I don't think Irvin likes her, right? But he just haven't called it quits yet. I think he didn't even know that he may have looked at her in a strange way. Maybe he looked over at her and maybe it was just coming out of him.
Maybe so.
You know, you know what I mean? And now, granted, that doesn't give her the right to be that defensive about it, right? But the thing about it is, Irvin is not being 100% honest when it comes to his disdain for this girl based on how she's been acting towards him personally. Forget how she's been talking to Ty and everybody in the house. When it comes to their relationship, they are not in a good place. And I think because they are not in a good place, he's not in a good place. So you may think I'm looking at you regular, but I'm not really feeling you right now. So the whole time I'm looking at you like, you get what I'm saying? I'm kind of cutting my eye at you when you're doing something. Now, in that moment, he could have diffused it and just been like, "Oh no, I'm just looking at you." But he didn't. But he didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because I think he really don't like the girl, and I'm saying, hey, say something. Closed mouths ain't gonna get fed.
And for me with Alicia, like, that's my thing about the therapizing that she says she's been through, all this type of stuff. Like, if you're looking at him and it seems like something's off with him, why would you not ask him, "You good? Are you okay?" Instead, it's always something that has to do with her. Because she
don't care. She don't care.
And so now she's mad because he called her weird.
I mean,
you're being weird, Alicia.
Listen,
I don't know what to tell you.
Listen, a hit dog will holler. No, but she is being weird though.
Yeah, and the thing is too, people be weird sometimes. I be weird sometimes. It's like when people get so like offended over certain things, it's just not that big a deal. So what, he called you weird? But is that going to really ruin your night?
Yeah, it can though. It can, because if you're weird, see, the thing about it is there's a difference between somebody who accept being a misfit and basically like, you know what, I am meant to not fit in. I'm a misfit. But if you really think you're normal and then somebody really like be like, nah, you weird. You is gonna kind of be like, nah, I'm not weird. I'm not weird. You get what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is, right?
I can see that.
But truth be told, she wasn't even the weirdest one there. As much as I'm giving Alicia a grief about it, you know who was the weirdest one there? Clay. Right? We saw the whole back and forth with TT and Clay.
Well, let me get there.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So Ty isn't paying attention to Brittany. Brittany's irritated by that. And she's like, you want to make friends or you want to be with me? So Tatiana confronts Clay about his lies about being vegan. And she tells him to stop making her look stupid.
Oh, my goodness.
Cisco is trying to tell Clay, just apologize. She just wants you to say sorry. And Clay says, well, you got to look at the intentions and the reason why. You know what I mean? And Tatiana cuts him off because she's like, I'm not trying to sit up here and listen to you because you're lying. She never asked him to be vegan. If he's going to lie about petty stuff, what else is he going to lie about?
Everything.
He ends up saying he's sorry. He just wants peace. And he asked her if she has to talk with her hands. And Tatiana says she's going to talk how she wants to.
Do you know what I mean? Out of everyone who was there that night, Clay was the weirdest one to me. Right? Because you was lying. You get what I'm saying? And now you're trying to make it seem like TT is like spazzing or something like that, as if she ain't got every right to. Now, of course, if you are the one that is wrong, right? You don't want your business out on Front Street. Right. But at the same time, you've been eating these sandwiches cooked in bacon grease in front of everybody. Everybody knows that, hey, that you said you're going to be vegan for me, but yet they know that you've been eating meat behind my back. They know you've been eating these chips behind my back. And I'm not even mad that you eat meat. That's the weird part about everything. It'd be one thing if TT said, hey, I met this guy and I'm only dating this guy because he said he's vegan and things like that. She knows the basics of this relationship is that you're not vegan. So why are you lying and being weird and now mad that she's confronting you about the lie that you chose to tell recreationally?
Yeah.
Like that's the weird part about it, right? So I'm not even gonna give Alicia the weird points for basically busting a 1-2 step in like the chair, right? Clay is the weird one that's trying to make it seem like TT ain't got a right to be mad for being lied to and being played, and now he's like, can you not talk with your hands? Well, man, you lucky I don't take this golf club and
get to swinging.
You know what I mean? So that's why I don't even understand. There's nothing that Clay can fall back on to make him look normal in this situation in any way.
And I think at a certain point, y'all, we got to really not be too concerned about people's intentions. I'm worried about your actions, okay?
His intentions don't even make sense.
His intentions don't make sense. And like she said, don't even explain it to me because you be lying. But I don't know what your intentions are and I don't care. Stop lying to me.
The intentions don't even make sense because when she said, remember the first episode when he kept feeding her grapes just like a dog and stuff like that, kept feeding her and things like that? She said, I'm going to be vegan for you and things like that. I'm paraphrasing. She said, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
So you don't even get credit for the intentions because I told you don't have to do that. Now, what is your thoughts just quickly before we get to the second part of this of Ty and Brittany inside of Top Golf?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, man, how do I feel? I do feel like when you are in a group setting, it can be difficult, I think, for some people to make sure that they are paying attention to their partner.
Yeah.
Because they're so engulfed in the fact that, we're just hanging out, having fun. Like, we're not really like on a couple date kind of type of situation. But I do think it's important to acknowledge your partner, like touch their leg and just, be like, you good? Like, just let them know, like, I'm still here with you.
Yeah.
But I think that for this situation, Brittany, I think she was just irritated by Ty because of how loud he can be and how his jokes, he's always joking, and I think she was annoyed with him more than anything, honestly.
Perfect word.
And I think that she was just finding reasons to be upset with him, other than just saying, I don't like your personality.
Hey, listen, let's go over our work today, class. We have Jared's a liar, Charli liar too. You get what I'm saying? Kiki's a liar, cheater, and manipulative. Brandon's controlling, right? Alicia is evil, right? Right? You have Irvin, who's a simp, right? And Ty, we can put annoying. I think those are some things you do not want to attach to your name, right? Ty is annoying. And I knew he was annoying when they had a couple massage and he was basically this feel good, huh? You know what I mean? Basically just being loud and just not really, like, it just seemed like he was trying to make a moment besides being in the moment. And this is what happens when you date Unc. She's dating, like, basically the uncle, basically the one who cooks for everybody, who's on the grill and things of that nature. And I think she's annoyed at him. And what is happening, or what we're about to see happen, is that now it's about to come up out of her of how much she don't like him. Of course, she ain't going to say it, and she can't say it, but she knows in her inside that she don't like him. So anything he does, even the volume that he talks, annoys her. Yeah. Because she's learning that I'm starting not to like this guy.
But I'm going to give it to her this way, too. If she said that he wasn't giving her enough attention, I'm not going to sit up here and say that that wasn't maybe part of what she was feeling. And if that's the case, that's clearly an easy conversation. But instead of having the conversation, she's over here yawning and trying to talk about, I'm ready to get out this car and all this type of stuff, which, is also just showing that, okay, it seems like you're irritated, but you're not actually saying what the issue is. And that goes into the bigger piece where I'm just like, Cisco is just like, we all got to learn how to communicate because people are not talking to each other about what's really going on.
And that's funny because she's yawning, basically saying she want to get the F out this effing car, and he's like, well, that ain't gonna make it go faster. The reason why she feels that way is because she's tired of sitting next to him. Right? She's annoyed with him. She's annoyed with the whole experience right now, in my opinion.
Yeah. So Jared and Charli enjoy their intimacy suite. He cracked. Okay.
Hey.
Alicia isn't happy that Irvin called her weird. According to her, he called her weird because she smiled. And she says that some people are just more comfortable with chaos. They don't know what it's like to have a healthy relationship. And apparently he fell asleep on the ride home. And she's like, I don't even know if I want to give this person another chance if they're falling asleep on the second date. I'm just like, how Alicia sees things is just so interesting.
No, it's not interesting.
It's warped.
It's weird. It's weird. No,
it's like when you're weird. In those like the House of Mirrors and everything's warped.
Yeah.
Like that's like when we get into like Alicia's way of thinking. Yeah, I'm just like, I feel like I'm walking in a fun house right now.
Yeah, but this is what happens. Like now you're mad at me because obviously wherever they are, Top Golf is not around the corner.
Yeah,
So the idea that she's like, would I even want to be with a guy who would go to sleep on a second date? Listen, you're on a second date in a van full of everybody else.
Yes.
what is your? That's why I'm like, she's weird, and Irvin. Now I'm no longer going to blame Alicia because Alicia have shown consistency since episode 1. I'm going to start blaming Irvin because Irvin, if you have a problem with this, what are you going to do about it? Keep saying you have a problem with it? Leave.
Yeah. So Clay at this point is saying that he did say he wanted to go vegan, but he was sneaking meat on the side. He thought it was funny, but she didn't think it was.
Why?
What's the joke?
Okay.
He tells her that he was eating meat behind her back and it was messed up. Tatiana feels betrayed. It made her look at him different, but she does forgive him. And she just wants him to be honest about who he is and what he wants. Clay still hasn't been able to tell her that he has a 2-month daughter, and she tells him that she wouldn't want to be with him if he's just a compulsive liar. Well, I think you called it, girl.
Yeah, I'm about to say. And keep building your case, TT.
Yeah.
And to Blair's point right there, where's the joke? Like now, that's why when you ask, is there something loose up there? Yes, it has to be, because what's the joke in eating meat behind her back? Why are you sneaking meat?
But I think that goes to, like, you know how some people when they try to play in your face or make a snarky comment or do something strange and you call them on it and they're like, oh girl, I'm just kidding, like it's not that serious, and try to downplay it. It's because you know that you're being strange, like you know you're doing the most right now. Yeah. And then when you're called on it, you want to say it's a joke. Where's the joke? Yeah.
Matter of fact, you may have hit the nail on the head. There's not he knows there's no word to really describe what he did. Yeah. So he just got to go with haha. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Because
I was just playing.
Yeah, because really, at the end of it, why are you in the pantry eating a sandwich? No one made you do
and
this.
And nobody's telling you to hide in the shadows eating beef jerky. Like, what are you doing?
Why? Because if I was to come downstairs and I see you in the closet eating beef jerky, I'm going to say, what's wrong with you, bro? Like, no, like.
That's a crazy image. This grown man eating beef jerky in the shadows of the pantry. But
at that moment, if I'm in the house, and if he's one of the guys and I'm one of the guys, I'm never talking to that weirdo again. Yeah. Because why are you sneaking meat? Now you have to imagine he probably was eating these things, taking 3 bites, thinking TT go walk in. And my thing is, TT never told you have to be vegan. Yeah. That's why in my head, I'm like, what is he hearing? He's not hearing what she's saying. And he just may be a compulsive liar. And he thought it would be funny. And to your point, where's the joke? But like you said, he got caught red-handed and he really can't explain himself out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. So Ty, she is just chilling in the pool, walking around. And Brittany, I'm sorry, is in the pool. Okay. And Ty's telling her, oh, like, I want to see you swim. He's on the grill. He's cooking and, doing like stuff like that and cooking for the house. And she's just like, oh, I'm just chilling. And then she asks him if he can, she doesn't want to get her hair wet because they might have something to do later. And he starts yelling about going into the boom boom room, and she was irritated with that. He talked about cooking for her, but he didn't cook for her. She says not one day. It was all talk. He is actually, like I said, currently on the grill showing Clay how to grill. Yeah. But she doesn't feel like he's focusing on her enough. So she asked him to get her a drink, and he says, yeah, I'll get a drink for you. I'm just bring out the food. He has some pasta salad as well. So he was going to bring everything out for everybody to start eating. Yeah. Ty is talking to the guys on the side saying that she's tripping over him not bringing her a drink immediately when he's over here cooking for everybody. And she is with her plate eating his food that he made.
Yeah. That he never cooked for her. I hear him.
Says that she can hear him, and Ty starts yelling, saying, I'm supposed to do everything. And Brittany was like, you're not the gentleman that you said you were. You move, you do your own thing. You didn't make me breakfast. You didn't make me lunch. And Ty is like, well, I can't do nothing right around here. Brittany walks away. Saying she doesn't do disrespectful men, and Ty is feeling unappreciated.
This is a situation where everybody's right and everybody's wrong. Yeah. Right? Because I'm going to use her their Skype little thing to describe what she wants and why she's toxic, right? Any woman, right, who describes a male or a male that they want as I want an alpha male, tell them start watching YouTube videos, start watching them red pill stuff and things of that nature. This alpha male and your idea what an alpha male is, basically she wants a man that's basically, when he comes in the room, he has a presence, he has an aura, and he's supposed to serve basically me in every aspect and basically in every way, right? That's basically what she wants from Ty. She's basically saying, hey, cater to me, right? Where really in reality, right, people who are in relationships and have been in relationships, if your man is on the grill or if your woman is cooking and things of that nature, guess what? I'm doing whatever I can to assist the person who is doing the work.
Yeah. Like, what you need? You need me to get some sausage?
Like,
good over here. You want some water?
Hey, you talking about bring you a drink while you're swimming laps in the pool like this, keeping your head from getting wet and things of that nature. Why didn't you bring him a drink? And I'm not holding no bail. Listen here, I'm giving you bail out of jail. I'm not saying you have to bring him a drink, but it's the audacity of you saying, bring me a drink when he's the one working on the grill.
Yeah.
When he's the one cooking the food that you about to eat that you say he haven't cooked for you personally. So there's a difference with her of cooking for the house where she can partake in that food and cooking for her personally.
And that's the part I want to talk about is being that I am a woman.
You are a woman.
In a marriage.
In a marriage.
You know, that, dated, before marriage, with you. And there is something to wanting some TLC from your man.
Okay.
And there is something to just saying like, okay, like we've been hanging out, we've been chilling, but I haven't been getting that quality time of really like intentionality of us doting on each other, us kind of being in a romantic space. Even their couples massage really wasn't that romantic because he kept cracking jokes. So I think that she is feeling a little bit starved of that romantic attention because he is such a social person and always kind of wanting to be I'm not going to say like class clown in a way, but
it's close though.
But it's like close along those lines of just a jovial person, but in the way of kind of doing a lot. You know what I'm saying?
And to your point, his intention is not to hurt anybody.
No.
That's why he's in a quiet taste.
Yeah.
His intention is that everybody feels good
and enjoy themselves
when he's around.
And I can appreciate someone with that personality because you don't want nobody with a stank personality.
But it can be annoying.
Yeah.
But even though the intention is nice, it can be annoying where every 3 minutes you hear, hey now, you get what I'm saying, from Unc in the back. But no, you're right. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I can see from her perspective that, I'm not getting this romantic TLC one-on-one attention that I want to have in order to really grow like our romance. And even in their talking, and he's saying that he was going to cook for her and he was going to do these things for her. Like, yes, he's cooking for the house, but he's not really pouring into her the way that she thought he would. Yeah. And that's what brings up the communication piece to me because Brittany's over here irritated. She's over here like saying, can you get me a drink? Because she's pretty much like, I need you to like pour into my cup. But instead of saying that, she's catching the attitude because he's cooking for the house.
Yeah.
Say what's really bothering you so that way he can address what the real issue is. Because according to him, he's like, I'm running around, I'm cooking, I'm doing all this type of stuff.
He's looking at the issue.
And you're over here upset with me because I didn't mix you a margarita. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I can see both perspectives, but that's why you got to really talk to each other about what the real issue is.
And what you're saying is 100% right. And once you're in a relationship, here's why I agree with what you're saying overall, but I don't know if that applies to Brittany.
Okay.
I think Brittany want to be served. I think Brittany want to be worshipped. I think, and granted, if you promise that you can do these things in the courting stage and things of that nature, guess what? Someone, no matter if it's a man or woman, is going to, hey, you need to pay this bill. You said that you can do this. We need to cash this check that that you go cook for me and clean for me. And here's the thing about it. This just lets me know that Brittany, I hate to use this word. I really do. So I give y'all permission to throw tomatoes at me. No. I really do.
Let me get mine ready.
Because I never use this word because this word is used basically in a way to manipulate and to basically tear down. You get what I'm saying? But I'm going to use it just so y'all can get the picture.
All right.
She wasn't feminine enough for me. Right? When it comes to being feminine and things like that, you don't yell across the pool, you never cooked for me. You never did anything for me. If you want to be poured into and things of that nature, there is a way, there is a softness that comes when you're dealing with a guy that goes like, hey, I feel like we need some alone time. Hey, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling that way. How about, because listen here, even though he's over here talking about boom, 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 and he, his personality is loud, but there is something to, hey, even though you may be annoyed with him, if she really wanted to get what she wants, there's a certain softness that I'm not seeing from Brittany.
And I can agree with you in a way. I don't necessarily love the word femininity because like she is a woman through and through. But I do think that the approach could have been different in order for her to get a better reaction. And just as an example, like there, few like weeks back or whatever, like I was, thinking that, I kind of, we're doing the podcast, we're both, working full time. Like I feel like and we both work opposite schedules. And I was like, I would like us to do something together, nothing crazy, but maybe we can do like a paint and sip night in the house.
But that's different
and
though.
So I know, but I'm just talking about how my approach, the approach that I took.
But your approach was not, we never do anything.
Okay, but let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
And by saying that, hey, like, let's do something. Here's an idea that I have. Would you be willing to do it? And the fact that you were receptive, and it's just like, yeah, we can do like a paint night. And so we did like a paint night. We watched a video on YouTube to the person who walked us through.
I don't like telling people my business. Okay. But I'm saying please get.
Okay, all right. But my point is that, if you do approach things with softness and even with an idea to bring you guys together, like that can be a way for you to get what you want out of the situation. But I do think that there is a part of her saying that you said you were this person who would do these things, that I thought it was just in you to do it and I wouldn't have to ask. But I think that in a relationship, sometimes you have to ask because the person might not be on the same wavelength. Yeah.
And my thing is, there was no softness to her. Yeah. You never approach someone with saying you don't. Right? Because if you say you don't cook for me while you're about to eat the food that I'm about to make, then I can just be like you're making something out of nothing. What I think is she personally starting not to like this guy. Yeah. And it's starting to come out in other ways. And basically you said you're going to do this. You said you're going to do this. I don't think it's about the things that she said that he's not doing. Because if she really liked the guy and really was patient with the guy, her whole approach will be different than just you don't or you said, right? It was like, hey, I want some alone time with you. Yeah. There is a very different, you would get a different response based on how you come at somebody. To your example, you came to me and said you would like to do something. You did not say, Chris, you don't do this. Chris, you said that you was going to do this and you don't do that. Your approach, the reaction you're going to get is going to be based on your approach. Right. And I think them yelling across the pool at each other, guess what? I'm giving him blame too. No bail to get out of jail for him too. Because she's basically like, I can hear you. And he's like, I ain't whispering. Yeah. I think he's frustrated because he don't understand why she's frustrated. Because only thing that he's hearing is you don't, you haven't, what's up? Where this alpha male that you said that you were. And I'm like, that kind of comes off as, what have you done for me lately? More than, hey, let's grow our relationship. Right. That's very different because I'm not in servitude to you. I'm not made to serve you. I'm here to serve the relationship. Yeah. Anything else? That's it. Listen here. I gave y'all an hour and 7 minutes again. These are 2-hour episodes back to back. So you know what I need? I need your subscription. I need your comments. I need your likes. I need you to share the episode, and I need your super thanks. I need your money. No. I'm not. Listen here. I'm not hiding anything. Listen here. I understand that we have 6,000 subscribers, and you may think we make this amount of money on YouTube, and you may be right. You may be wrong. I'm not here to confirm or deny anything, but I will say this: I want your money. Okay. For this video, for this series, because now I think it's about to get crazy. Okay. Now I think it's about to get real crazy now. But so far, I will say, if I was to admit, even though this show is stupid, the premise is stupid, I am enjoying this season better than last season. Ooh. I give y'all that. All right. I'm glad to hear it. Give y'all that. So take off $1 of what y'all was already going to give for that. Right? Anything else? That's it. Y'all be good. Bye.